Evan Phillips, 1 year, $6.5 million. Kind of forgot that he was still on the market.
I didn't know he was a free agent because he got hurt, so he missed so much time.
Mm-hmm. Dude's good, though.
Yeah.
He was closing for them 2 years ago for part of the year. So he's back. Dodgers really needed an arm.
Yes.
I'm kind of joking.
They used them all, so they need all the arms they can get. When you say
True.
they need an arm, yes, they actually do, because they've, I guess is Gratterall back? Kopech's still a free agent.
True.
Evan Phillips is nasty when he's right. Trinan, they don't know what they're going to get. Tanner Scott was not very good last year. I mean, they have Edwin Diaz, and they, our next guest, Justin Robleski, he helped them out huge, but they need all the. Listen, one thing about the Dodgers, they have depth because they go out and sign guys for depth.
Yeah, I mean, they DFA'd Anthony Bonda, who is probably going to get traded to a team that can really use him. They just DFA'd Ben Rortvedt, who was a big part of the catcher mix.
Yeah.
Right, but ended up getting some PT because of the injuries. So, nice little pickup here. Phillips is 31, and he's not back right away, just for the record. He's still recovering from TJ. The expected return is midseason, around July. Next up, José Quintana, 37-year-old, 15th big league season. Colorado Rockies coming in hot in February. They were sleeping on us for most of the offseason, and here they come. I mean, they need to get some...
Yeah, but this is the signings the Rockies do.
But they need this. I mean, they need to fill
these are smart signings.
They are.
Because guess what? If José Quintana goes out and pitches well, they trade him. They trade him in June, July, and they get a prospect that can possibly help him out. This is Paul DePodesta, the new head of baseball there, making smart moves. These are the guys you sign because then you can hopefully turn them, and it's not going to cost them a ton of money. Then you hopefully turn them into something that can help you down the road. So, great. I mean, Q, I'm sorry you have to go pitch in Colorado, but I love you. But at least you're getting paid and you get to pitch again.
And nowadays, they evaluate on what your stuff looks like. So even if the ERA is high, I mean, they're well aware of what's going on there. $6 million for Quintana, and you figure Colorado's going to pay about half of that, and then they're going to flip him. But yeah, last year had some injuries, but still with Milwaukee just shy of a 4 ERA, a little over 130 innings. I mean, still can eat innings, and he's had an above average ERA plus for a long time now. Going back to trying to find the year where he wasn't at that mark. I think it's 2021. Yeah, was the last time he wasn't above an ERA plus of 100. Eats innings effectively.
Can't find a job because he doesn't throw 95 plus. He's going to go out and continue to give to his team. This is a guy that's very locked into each one of his starts. I think it'll be interesting to see how these last two signings, I'm forgetting who the Rockies just signed. Savali? Was it Savali? No, he signed with the A's. Anyway, not getting strikeout guys. Thank you, Shigano. Not getting strikeout guys. How is that going to play in Colorado? Now, I'm not worried about the homers. I'm worried about balls in play. It's just a lot of area to cover. So we'll be interested. I'll be interested to see because he had below a 4 ERA. You'd think a guy like that would be a nice little pickup for somebody's fourth or fifth rotation spot, but guess it wasn't meant to be until Colorado came a-knocking.
Jordan Montgomery has agreed to a $1.2 million deal with the Rangers. There's also $1.75 million in potential bonuses. He is still working his way back from Tommy John surgery. Target is around the All-Star break. Reunited.
And it feels so good. Last time they got Jordan Montgomery back around the All-Star break, they won the World Series. So are we doing the over-under today on BetMGM for the Rangers? So I'm going to take the over now that Monty's back.
I can't believe they're running it back. I can't believe it. It's unbelievable. They're running it back. What idiots they are.
You sound like a fan of another team that's not happy when the same players return to the team. Now, Jordan Montgomery's been away from this team. Now he's returning to this team. Maybe it brings the mojo back because ever since Jordan Montgomery left, they haven't been as good.
That's what I'm saying.
I actually think he's going to return and pitch well for them.
Well,
like sometimes these are flyers.
He's got to get back. Well, it's funny is I forgot last year he was with the Brewers. You guys remember he was with the Brewer. He was with the Brewers, right? So I go in to do Milwaukee, do a Brewer game, and I'm like, wait, he hadn't been to Milwaukee. He was there for some community service award, even though he wasn't really on the team. He was on the IL when he got traded. But I walked in, and he walks in, and I was talking to Vassallo and some of their reporters, and I was like, "Oh, Monty," and they're like, "We've never met him." I'm like, "Oh, he's out in the tunnel with his wife," and they're like, "Oh," and so he walked in the clubhouse. Nobody had ever met him because he never was there.
Did anybody interview him?
I don't know if anyone. I think somebody probably did, but
He
it was
hasn't
just.
spoken in
It
a
was
while.
one of those like strange things that you never thought because you think like, oh, you forgot that he got traded to the Brewers, and then you forget that he was technically on their team, even though he never pitched. But then he shows up for the first time, and nobody knew. Nobody like was like, "What's up, dude? Like, it's so good to see you, man. How's the rehab?" It was like
Awkward.
he was going around like, "Hi, I'm Jordan Montgomery. Nice to meet you." And everyone's like, "What the?"
Here
It was
for a
strange.
good-
It was weird.
Here
I mean,
for
it's
a
just-
rehab time, not for a long time, because he wasn't going to pitch with them.
No, I know that's why it was so strange.
Yeah, it was weird.
But anyways, welcome back, Jordan.
Maybe he learned a thing or two out in Milwaukee, but for the Rangers, even on the PR side, him being around the organization, they love him in Arlington.
They
and
should.
around
He
Texas
got him a
and
World
Dallas
Series.
and all of that. They love him. He was a dog for
That's
the
the American
Rangers
Missile.
years ago. Yeah.
That's the American Missile. He
Mhm.
came to spring training the one year when we had Chappie, and he was like, you know what? If he's the Cuban Missile, why can't I be the American Missile? And then COVID hit, and his velocity went down. So, but forever, he'll be American Missile in my heart.
He can have that nickname. I'm fine with that. I
Mhm.
like it. I hadn't heard that one. So you just mentioned the Brewers. They're up next. They signed someone. An old friend, Gary Sánchez, 1.75 mil.
Who is going to be their backup? Is this their first big league signing they've had?
I think it is. Am I missing someone? Chat, help me out or make me look stupid. Am I missing someone?
Well, you do that on your own. You don't need the chat.
Thank you. Am I missing someone that the Brewers signed?
I thought they signed somebody. I just talked about it yesterday. I thought they signed somebody early, like a pitcher that. But anyway, El Gary, my ex-teammate. I mean, you can't. I guess William Contreras can't play every day. I don't even know who the other backup was supposed to be. I honestly thought there'd be a Jonah Heim sighting in Milwaukee because they value the receiving part of the game a lot, and Jonah Heim, I think could have fit into this roster in a way as a switch hitter. Contreras can DH a little bit more, but El Gary going to go try to hit some dingers.
He's going to be the backup catcher.
There you have it.
Clearly.
I mean, he didn't play much last year. He was hurt.
He was hurt a lot.
He only ended up, I was looking, I'm like, man, even less than I thought. 29 games, 101 plate appearances with the Brewers. Bad. And with Milwaukee the year before, 89 games, 280 plate appearances, 699 OPS, below average OPS plus. So it's fine.
Yeah,
Below
fine.
average?
That year, yeah. Well, not for a catcher, but
For a catcher, it's above average.
it is above average. I think it was 94, so it's a little above average. Fine, Kratz. It's fine.
I mean,
it's fine. It's a backup catcher who's got some pop for you. I mean, he should be an above average backup catcher.
Yeah.
More hitting
Agreed.
potential.
Yeah, but he hasn't
As-
really been. I mean,
He hasn't been Gary
Knowing-
in a long time.
it's been a long time.
It has.
Knowing backup catchers, I was one. If El Gary is your backup catcher, it's an upgrade. Sorry,
Yeah.
I get it. He's not going to hit 20 homers in his first 25 games for the Brewers, but it's a good backup. To me, that's the upper tier of backup catchers.
Agreed. Totally agree. Same page. That's an upper tier backup catcher that can do some
If he's
things for you
healthy,
on
though.
offense if he's healthy. The one thing I'll say with him, because I'm just remembering this, I'm not even going to say the name of the person who's a friend of mine who's prominent in our game. He was like, this guy's got, he didn't say Pujols production potential, but he was making like Pujols comps
Who?
back in the day. No, I'm not doing it right now. But
You look at his.
my question is, Kratz is a big fan of him for years. When you do look at the career, this guy hasn't lived up to what many thought he was going to be. I know he's nice and he's had a nice career and he's hung around for a while, but when he came
Nobody
up
was
in the
going to
league,
live up to that hype. Especially, it's really hard.
People thought he was going to be a superstar, and he just wasn't. And you guys play the cat. You guys play the.
He was
position.
a superstar for about 1 year, and then then a lot of things went wrong. Remember the path fall problem he had,
right?
And then he was basically just a home run hitter for a long time.
You guys play the position where guys get hyped and fall below expectations more than any other position in baseball.
Yes, because it's hard.
It's hard
because it wears you out.
There's more things that can go wrong that can derail that hype. And I wouldn't say it was just hype. I mean, you talk about 16 was incredible, almost won Rookie of the Year with 200 at-bats. That was awesome. 17, we were 1 game away from going to the World Series. We lost to the Astros. He had 33 homers, an OPS plus of 126. 18, he only played in 89 games. 19, played in 106 games, still had an OPS plus of 119. So it was a good start to 4 years. I remember even in 20, Cashman came in. We were in COVID, and Cashman came in, and we were kind of going through like a rough patch, and he was going through like why he believed in the team and why, the guys that were on that roster. And he was like, we have a catcher on this team who needs to get back to the Hall of Fame track that he's been on for the first 4 years of his career. We have to get back to, Aaron Hicks being the guy that they gave the extension to. And like Gary was one of those guys. And I think really after that 19 season, I hit on it a few years ago on the show, but that it wasn't just hype. It wasn't like prospect hype. He was having a lot of production from the catching position, which just adds more to things that AJ did in his career, staying healthy, catching 1,000 innings and doing what he did for so long that it needs to be talked more about in the Hall of Fame category because it is so freaking tough at that position.
There's examples every year in a variety of ways. There's Henry Davis, first overall pick, and even if he wasn't supposed to be first overall, top 10 pick and super hyped, and right, he's found himself, he's found a lane, but he's not a star. Adley Rutschman kind of emerged quickly as a potential star, all-star looking player, and then his production has dipped down on offense, right? It is tough to maintain both. That's what I just said.
Joey Bart.
Bart, yeah.
Matt Wieters, remember, he came up with all the hype, and then it kind of fizzled a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Those guys are solid big leaguers,
I still think Rutschman has a chance to be pretty good.
I do too. I'm not putting him in the same category. I'm just saying, like, he was hyped as, like, this could be the best player in the sport, and now it's like, okay, let's see if he gets his bat back on track first before we start throwing out.
You know what's strange about a lot of catchers, and I think Kratz would agree with me. It's a lot of times now, Buster Posey, Joe Mauer aside, probably, even though Joe didn't catch as long and he moved to first, and Buster played 10 years and kind of also had to move to first, had some injuries, sadly, but they're both going to be in the Hall of Fame. A lot of times it's like kind of catchers that you don't hear about that have really nice careers that kind of just fly under the radar. Like, I'll use Kurt Suzuki, like, because he came up in Oakland, right? He wasn't, I don't know if he was, but he was like a second round pick when he got there. But he had a very nice career by just being steady, right? Steady. Yadi Molina back in the day, when he came up, they had Mike Matheny. They had to get rid of Mike Matheny to clear room for Yadi. Now, I don't know. He wasn't obviously the super high draft pick like he was, but, he became something, right? It's catching is so hard to predict, man. It's the hardest. It really is the hardest position to predict.